So, Cygnus has just dropped. I think there's a new firmware from Fractal Audio for the FX stuff. So I think one of the things that people really like about the FX stuff is that there's a continual kind of improvement of the firmware and upgrades and, you know, updates to the modeling algorithms themselves and stuff like that. I think this might be looking at power amp stuff. I don't think there's release notes for it just yet, but I wanted to just quickly do a little test. So I recorded on a looper a clip with an AC20 preset, so it's really straightforward. It's just the amp into a cab and then a reverb and then out. And then I also did the same with the Soldano 100 rhythm, and so there's nothing else on these. So it's just literally hearing what has changed in the amp. I've played it into a looper and then I've recorded via the looper back before and after the Cygnus change. So that's what you're hearing. So first of all, on the drive, the Soldano, there was a volume drop of -5 dB, so that's something to be aware of if you're going to be going in and doing this, and something to switch over on your patches. With the Morgan, that wasn't the case, the Cygnus update, but I think generally it was about the same average volume. Other differences I think are probably fairly subtle. I'm going to have to go back and listen to them, but I just wanted to put it together in case you wanted to hear what the differences might be. Obviously I'm very new to the FX, so I'm probably not the best person to ask about some of this stuff. But if anything, I would say that both things sounded fantastic before and after. So it's maybe like an incremental type thing, but over time I guess these incremental things can build up to be quite a significant difference. So I don't know if there's people out there that still kind of do ABs between AXFX 3 and like older AXFX products. That could be fairly interesting to see what those differences end up sounding like overall. I'm not sure about what the new models are in this firmware update. I think there's a Maxon SD9 which has been added, the Sonic drive. Aside from that, because the release notes aren't out yet, I'm not totally sure. So do you think there was a significant difference? Do you hear a big difference? It's exactly the same audio into the AXFX, so each time, so this is a kind of true AB. I kept everything identical, not changed the patches. I think there was a slight difference in the amount of CPU used, but not significant enough to make a real difference. So it's not like if you run this update you're gonna suddenly find presets don't work anymore. But like they say in the forum, there is gonna be volume difference, and potentially the way your presets sound might kind of change, so it's worth being aware of. I've reverted back to firmware 15 just so that I can get more out of the AXFX 3 and do my explorations in kind of the stable recommended firmware world. But you know, no reason that you shouldn't necessarily jump into Cygnus, given that probably most of us don't have gigs. So also, if anyone's got any amp models they think I definitely need to check out, I think the AC20 is one that I've not really checked out before, but it's kind of sounded cool to me. Let me know in the comments. Cheers!